friends. I guess we can get started about 1 minute early. I hope that everybody is doing well today and that they are having a very happy Friday. Welcome back to more MekHQ and MegaMek. I'm excited. I am really excited. And I spent the last 3 days thinking about starting that new campaign when 50.10 comes out. And I've been playing around with some of the new nightlies, getting started, opening up new campaigns, just making sure that I'm kind of able to play with some of those new features. And I am pumped. I am really excited. It's been fun to play with the beginner settings, getting started again, but getting going with those veteran settings, I think is going to be a blast. I think it's going to have a lot of added challenge and just overall be a much more interesting experience. But without further ado, let's get back into it. I did update my client to the most recent nightly, so this is the nightly from midnight to night. Last time we were here, we did an engagement and we succeeded pretty handily. Took a little bit of damage, nothing too crazy though. However, we need to prevent the evacuation of a data center, and I didn't realize this until after I had turned off my stream last time. But we had another scenario pop up. That reminds me, in the intervening time since my last stream, I had another follower, Honey Skull. Thank you so much for the follow yesterday. I can't believe that you followed me when I wasn't even on stream. And again, Ileani, thank you so much for following me on the last stream. I really appreciate it. All right. But I had this new scenario pop up. So let's see what this is all about. So Recon, hostile data center. A hidden enemy controlled facility has been identified for destruction. This installation is too valuable to remain in enemy hands, and its defenders must be eliminated to ensure it is no longer operational. Your mission is to destroy at least 75% of the defending forces. This is not an occupation, this is an eradication. The priority is destruction, not capture. Do not concern yourself with securing the facility. The enemy will fight to protect this installation, but their defenses will crumble under sustained pressure. Crush their forces, level their defenses, and ensure that when this battle is over, the facility is of no use to anyone. The victor will control the field of battle, the battlefield at the end of the engagement. If the facility remains salvageable after the assault, we will destroy it. The enemy will be left with nothing but ruins. Execute with overwhelming force and leave no doubt who owns this battlefield. The facility will be destroyed if 75% of the turrets are destroyed. Your employer has it deployed alongside you. There are 2 additional enemy scout mech lances that will be joining in. We can do some other things, but at the end of the day, the thing that gets us victory points is destroying a whole bunch of mechs. We must destroy the mechs. And that will be for about 3 days down the road. Oh, neat. Okay. No, why are you doing this? That's awkward. No, just go away. Sorry about the interruption, friends. Windows is being great. Why? Okay. Enough of those interruptions. So we are now on September 30th. We are about to move into a new month. We have deployed Able Lance to the hostile data center. Let's advance the day. Ruh-roh, employee turnover check. Nothing happens. Morale update. The enemy is losing ground, sustaining significant casualties, and is disorganized. However, they can still put up resistance in isolated areas. Enemy reliability is -1. Your performance over the past month was rated as a decisive victory, so +2. Rolled a 9. The enemy forces are wavering. I love these new pop-ups. Ileani, thank you. I've actually been streaming a nightly the entire time. So I was running the 1029 nightly for the last few streams, and I just updated it. So fortunately, now you can see live if there are any bugs. And for those of you who didn't know, Ilyani, who's joining us, I didn't put this together last time. Ilyani is one of the developers for MekHQ. So a big thank you to you for all of the work that you and everybody else do. Without you guys, this product, this game would not be as phenomenal as it is. So kudos to you. All right, I just got word of an auction that is happening in the next few hours. Captain, most of the lot is junk. Stripped chassis, damaged gear, nothing worth our time. But there's a longbow up for grabs that might be worth grabbing. Could be a useful addition to our lineup if we can get it at the right price. This auction isn't being conducted for money, but support and resources. We need to be careful, though, as sacrificing too much here may leave us vulnerable in other areas. Let me know how you want to proceed. So we have 4 support points. How much do we want to do? So for those of you who don't know, longbow, 85-ton mech. It carries 2 LRM-20s, a small laser, and 2 LRM-5s. So every time it launches, it can launch a total of 50 LRMs, which can do a lot of bad things to people. It's definitely a missile boat. It can get a little warm. It's a 460, but it cannot sink all of the heat that it generates if it's doing an alpha strike. So Ilyani says it's absolutely a team effort. I'm just a code monkey. She is being incredibly kind. She also answers tons and tons of questions on the Discord channel and is very responsive. The entire team is. So it's absolutely fantastic. So I think maybe we just do 2. Probably not going to get it, but that also leaves us some stuff left over in case anything bad happens. Boop. Good news. Our bid was successful. We secured the longbow, and the chassis is in better shape than I anticipated. A few systems will need tuning, and parts of the frame look like they have seen some wear, but nothing the techs can't handle. I'll arrange transport immediately. We should have it in the hangar within the next 5 days. Let me know if you want to assign it to a specific pilot or keep it in reserve for now. Ta-da! Do I need a longbow? No, absolutely not. I do not need a longbow. Do I want a longbow? Kind of. Sort of. But is it Capra? Capra, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining the chat. All right, we are now on October 1st. It is time for our battle. For those of you who don't know, Cap Ramrod, even better. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm not actually good at this game, but I'm very excited to play. All right. So, oh no. Oh dear. I think I made an oopsie. This is going to be very awkward. I did make an oopsie. I made a very big oopsie. Baker Lance, you will have to do the work. Yes, I am quite sure. No, I'm not sure, but I have to. So my oopsie is I deployed the wrong lance in the wrong place. I seem to be doing that a lot recently. Not the best planning on my part. So, preventing evac. Baker Lance is going to be joining. They have their Archer, Shadowhawk, Gladiator, and Rifleman. We have our allies that are bringing along Crusader and a Whitworth. The base defenses are a heavy laser turret and a light laser turret. Op 4 are bringing a Wasp, Warhammer, Wasp, and a Shadowhawk. And then they're bringing along a couple of recon mechs. So a total of 3 Stingers and a Wasp. Shouldn't be too bad. Oh, that's awesome. So Ilyani says, pro tip in 50.10, the nightly that I'm currently running on, you can right-click on the scenario in the briefing room to deploy. It avoids whoopsies like what I just did. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. I love everything about that. All right, commit. Hold on, wait, cancel. No, cancel. Okay, we're good. Yeah, that is fantastic. Thank you so much. All right. Either way, it'll buff. It's going to be fine. Nothing could possibly go wrong. Let's just start the game. All right, so this is a rehashing of what we're going to do. Which also, what am I doing here? Oh, that's right. We need to destroy or rout 75% of the Op 4 and the Recon mechs in order to make sure we get our points. Everything else is gravy. And we will control the field of battle at the end as long as we win. Commence drop. Send it. And then we wait for a moment. I hope that everybody's night is off to a great start, and I hope that everybody has fun and exciting plans for the weekend. And hopefully in these next coming weeks, people can, if you're in the United States, you can make it home for Thanksgiving or have family or at least be with close friends and generally just have a good time. Waiting, waiting, waiting. There we go. Wait for everything to load in. Oh, I remember one thing I was going to do. I will have to save this in... Actually, we'll reload this. No. I was going to change one setting because I saw somebody else on another stream do this, and I really liked it. I'll deal with that in a minute. But what I saw... Aha! The mist color, they changed it to something more reasonable so that you could tell very easily when you missed. All right, start, send, go. Let everybody load in, and then go for it. Oh no, I need to turn off sounds. It's the only downside of updating things is you have to redo things sometimes. Probably under client settings. All right, okay. Make round reports readable. All right, so overall our team won initiative. Let's see what happens. Okay, and we just need to hide the player list every time it shows up. Player list, hide, go away. Done. All right, so let's go ahead and deploy Control K. There we go. Control P. Get things set up so we can all see the things. We can do this. We can do this. Something like that. All right, so we can deploy in that northeast side. What do we have? So these are the evacuating forces right here in the middle. BattleTech recovery is down here. They've got the Wasp that they've deployed initially right there. I have a feeling that they are probably going to be deploying their heavy stuff either here or here, but we shall see. And I would like to give the archer a chance to shoot down at something like there. We'll throw the rifleman down right there. It would be nice for the Shadowhawk to be able to run down and kind of do some flanking action. Same thing with the Gladiator. And kind of close the distance a little bit. View. So by default, these things are not on for MegaMek, but I find them very useful. And one of them is show possible moves, because I'm a dum-dum. I don't know how to count. So blue means walk, yellow means run. If you have the additional rule sets on and everything like that, there might even be a sprint option, which is a different color on the outside. I don't have that on. Okay. I'm a little afraid of the Warhammer. I'm going to be honest, but it already moved. So go there. Shadowhawk can run down the road. Yes, absolutely. Be wary of it walking you through buildings. I did mention that on one of the previous streams. In one of the versions, I don't know, because I jumped way back in the day. Well, not way back. I jumped from version like 48 to version 50.01 or something. Somewhere in that range, they added these happy little exclamation marks on buildings. Happy exclamation marks to warn you, don't step on these. You might get hurt and you might fall through. It made it so I fell through buildings a lot less, but it'll still auto walk you over them if you're not careful. I don't blame MegaMek. It's a tool. I think we do this. Move 4 hexes. And a gladiator. There we go. Yes, when you jump on buildings to crush infantry, that yields interesting results depending on exactly what happens and how you roll. So a whole bunch of people had to roll because they did things on pavement, but everybody succeeded. So to hit the Warhammer, LRM 20s are at 6, medium lasers are out of range, or the Shadowhawk is 9s. I think I'll take the 6s and we'll get a little warm, and that's a-okay fine. Shrink that up a little bit. And then, unfortunately, I don't think anybody else is going to be able to do anything. Oh, well, the rifleman can do something. So we can either hit the Wasp. It's 12s to hit with the PPCs. Or we can shoot at the heavy laser turret, which is a 7 to hit. Why don't we do that? Do we want to be warm this early on? No. So just one PPC, call it a day, move on with our life for right now. Interesting. Very interesting. I guess I had a shot on the Wasp and didn't even realize it. Oops. But I definitely don't have a shot on anything from the Gladiator. Okay, so Warhammer fires on the Archer with 2 PPCs and misses. The Archer misses with one of the LRMs, but hits with the other one out with 12 out of 20 missiles, dealing 5 damage to the center torso, another 5 damage to the center torso, and 2 damage to the right arm. The Crusader misses. The enemy Wasp misses the Shadowhawk. Our Rifleman hits a stationary building. Good job, bud. With the PPC. It has 85 CF remaining. Shadowhawk Enemy Shadowhawk shoots at our archer, hits the center torso with an AC 5, 20 armor remaining. Heavy laser turret misses. The Whitworth also misses. And I don't think we need to punch anything right now. Archer's at 3 heat. The Wasp is at 1 heat, and the Warhammer's at 3 heat. Now, it would be funny if I was able to salvage the Warhammer and just bring my total Warhammer count up to 3, because who doesn't need more Warhammers? We lose initiative, and we will go first. I don't know how much I really want to close the distance with the archer. So we'll move up with the Shadowhawk, we'll move up with the Gladiator. We now have some stuff under our feet, which is less than desirable. The Warhammer backed up a little bit. I'm kind of tempted to do the same thing. It's a brave little wasp. I don't think that Shadowhawk is going to stay there. And I would love to close the distance on this wasp, but I'm worried that Shadowhawk is going to turn and come in behind my rifleman. And that would be less than ideal. Plus, I think we'll take hits from the heavy laser turret if we do that. We could do that. I think we do that. Interesting. Forestry Mech succeeds on a piloting roll. So Archer against the Shadowhawk, medium lasers are an 11, LRMs are a 9, and against the Archer, or against the Warhammer, also a 9 with the LRMs. The easier target to take out is going to be the Shadowhawk, but the one that scares me more is, is definitely the Warhammer. So I think we do one of the LRMs and call it a day against the Shadowhawk. Now, as for the madness that's happening here, there's a flatbed truck that's under my feet, plus the Shadowhawk, plus a BattleTech recovery vehicle. Nobody can really do a whole lot. But there's a forestry mech that can actually do some things with the chainsaw, and I'm not pumped about that. So why don't we start there? Medium laser is a 6 to hit, AC 5 is a 9 to hit. That's fine. We'll skip the LRM, and then we'll do an SRM 2. And we'll just say hello. So against the Wasp from the Rifleman, the PPCs are 9s, medium lasers are 11. We'll risk it. Whoops. Let's go ahead and do a little twisty action. So fire. If we fire both of our PPCs, we'll be 5 over, which is fine. We can cool down next turn. And then the Gladiator can do its SRM6 into the Forestry Mech. And then we can hopefully do a secondary target of the recovery. Oh, it's not great. The flatbed truck, that'll work. So we'll fire both of our medium lasers into the flatbed truck. All right, the Archer fires the LRM-20 and misses. Shadowhawk hits the right torso with a medium laser, critting on the gyro. Also hits with both of his SRM-2s, shramming the engine and destroying the engine. Cool. Great. So the Forestry Mech is no more. Also, just to add insult to injury, we did 2 damage to the head with one of those. However, the pilot is already dead, so it doesn't matter. The Warhammer fires PPC at the Crusader and hits the left torso. The Crusader misses with everything. Enemy Wasp fires a medium laser at the Rifleman, hits the right arm, misses with his SRM. The Rifleman misses with both of its PPCs. Gladiator misses with everything. Womp womp. The enemy Shadowhawk shoots at the Crusader, hits with its SRM-2. Both missiles hit, one into the right torso, one into the left arm. And then the heavy laser turret misses the Rifleman. Now for our physical attacks, we'll skip the Archer. Shadowhawk, can you step on something? Afford a step on a truck? Yeah, we'll take it. We'll skip the Rifleman. And then a 7 to hit the recovery vehicle. It'll be fine. Maybe. Shadowhawk hits flatbed truck. It gets squished. Gladiator misses against the recovery vehicle, but at least it stays standing, rolling a 5, needing a 4. Next, or now for heat, Rifleman's at 5 heat. Warhammer's at 6 heat. Everybody else is staying pretty cool. And we once again lose initiative. That was an interesting thing for the Warhammer to do. So 3s to do for the checks. I'm going to risk it. I'm going to try to get in behind this Warhammer and see if we can't smack it from the side. I do wish the Whitworth would have done something useful. The Wasp is doing waspy things and just jumping from place to place. Really, the recovery vehicle doesn't matter. It's not worth points. It doesn't do anything. Oh, and as a side note, we do have their reinforcements coming in. Let's do this. This might make things a little easier. So we've got a Stinger coming in from the top left. We've got a Stinger from the west, and we've got a Wasp and another Stinger coming from the south. Nothing can possibly go wrong. Now, what to do, what to do. I think we just close the distance and light the Warhammer up with some medium lasers, maybe? No, that's a bad idea. It's a very bad idea. We can do that, though. That might be okay. So the Shadowhawk, I'm going to go ahead and bring it down so it can bear on the Warhammer. And one thing I didn't check the elevation of that building, and I should have. It's the elevation of this building. Height 2, okay. We should be fine. Allegedly. What's the CF of the building? 80, okay. So 7's to hit against the Shadowhawk with the medium lasers. We can do that. The Shadowhawk into the Warhammer. Oops. AC 5 is a 9 to hit. I'll take that. LRM 5 is a 7. Take that. SRM is an 11. Whatever. Medium laser 11. You miss 100% of the shots you never take. The Rifleman. It's an 8 on the PPC. Yeah, that's going to be a little too hot for me. We'll do 1 PPC this turn. That way we can get back to 0 heat. So into the side of the Warhammer. PPC is an 8. I'll take that. SRM is a 10. I'll put us a few over on heat, but I'm okay with it. And we'll stop there. All right, Ally Crusader, medium laser into the Shadowhawk center torso. The Warhammer misses with everything on 6s and 8s. I'm okay with that. Archer hits the Shadowhawk with one of the medium lasers into the left arm. Wasp into the Crusader hits with an SRM-2. 1 missile goes into the right arm. Our Shadowhawk hits the LRM-5, 3 of the 5 missiles doing 3 damage to the right leg. Everything else misses. Enemy Shadowhawk hits the Crusader with a medium laser into the right arm. Heavy laser turret misses. Our Rifleman hits the Warhammer with the PPC into the right arm. Our Gladiator hits the Warhammer into the right torso with the PPC, down to 7 armor. The SRM also hits, rolling a 12, so all 6 missiles hit, doing 2 damage to the left torso, another 2 to the left torso, 2 to the head, 2 to the left leg, another 2 to the left leg, and 2 to the left arm. Warhammer has to make a piling skill check and succeeds. Now for our physical attacks. It's a 6 to hit the Shadowhawk. I'll take that. Shadowhawk kicks the Crusader, doing 11 damage to the left leg. Archer kicks the Shadowhawk in the left leg. It's down to 2 armor. The Crusader and Shadowhawk both stay standing. The Gladiator's at 3 heat. Warhammer's at 6 heat. Everybody else is cool. Once again, our team as a whole doesn't do great on initiative, but we do okay. Where is that Warhammer facing? So the Warhammer is facing northeast. So I think with the Gladiator, I think we put it into the rear arc of the Warhammer and hope for the best. If I take a risk this turn and go forward 1 more, it will expose it to the Stinger. Potentially the Stinger just runs up and kicks it, but I think that that's worth the risk to be able to then put the Shadowhawk also in the rear arc of the Warhammer, I think. Yeah, why not? We will have to make a couple of couple of piloting skill checks. They're 3s. Hope for the best. We are still standing. Life is good. So we can back up and still have shots on the Shadowhawk. And it's standing on a CF. It's standing on a CF-76 building. Interesting. Very interesting. If we can do 21 damage to it this turn, then he will go tumbling. Which might not be terrible. So I really don't want to give my back to the Warhammer. That just seems like a really bad idea. But I can back up like that and still be able to kick a Wasp. Maybe. If I hit. So everybody succeeds on their piling checks. Whoops. So I can't hit the building. That is a bumski. But medium lasers are 6s to hit. I'll take those odds. The Shadowhawk into the Warhammer. Medium laser is an 8. AC5 is a 6. LRM is a 7. SRM is an 8. That's a happy distance for everybody. PPCs are a 6 and a 6. I will happily go 5 over on heat to do that. And then the Warhammer. The PPC is a 5. Absolutely. If I do the SRM, we'll go 5 over on heat. And it was a 7 to hit. I think we'll risk it for the biscuit. Ooh, I like where that was going. All right, so the Stinger uprooted a tree. It's exciting. The Archer puts 2 medium lasers into the Shadowhawk, 5 damage to the right arm, and then the other 5 just goes into a building because it's in partial cover. The heavy laser turret finally hits the rifleman into the right torso with a large laser. Warhammer hits with 2 medium lasers against the rifleman, 5 into the center torso and 5 damage into the left torso. Shadowhawk hits with an AC5, doing 5 damage to the left leg. Then the SRM-2 hits with 1 missile straight into the head. It's down to 5 armor. The pilot has now taken 2 hits. Wasp does 2 damage into the right arm with an SRM-2 against the Whitworth. The Whitworth does very bad things to that Wasp. Medium laser hits the head, does 5 damage to the head. It is down to 2 internal structure and critting twice on the sensors. The pilot also took a hit, and then a medium laser into the right torso of the Wasp. The enemy Shadowhawk fires everything at the Archer and only hits with a medium laser, doing 5 damage to the left arm. The Rifleman misses on 6s with both of the PPCs. Enemy Stinger hits twice with medium lasers against the Rifleman, doing 5 damage to the left leg and 5 damage to the right arm. Gladiator puts a PPC into the right leg of the Warhammer and then hits with 4 of the 6 missiles with its SRM, doing 2 damage to the right leg, 2 damage to the left leg, 2 damage to the rear center torso, and 2 damage to the rear right torso. The right leg is down to 0 armor. The Rifleman took greater than 20 damage and stays standing. The Warhammer does not stay standing, falls, doing 5 damage to its left torso and 2 damage to its left leg, but the pilot avoids damage. So we're not going to do any physical attacks with the Shadowhawk. The Rifleman, I would like you to kick the Stinger. So the Whitworth kicks the Wasp, hitting on the right leg. The right leg is now down to 1 internal structure. Rifleman kicks the Stinger into the right leg. It's also down to 1 internal structure. And we crit on the lower leg. The Stinger kicks the right leg of the Rifleman. It's down to 8 armor. Rifleman stays standing. The Wasp falls. And then it takes 2 damage to its center torso rear. The pilot does not take any damage. The Stinger stays standing after it makes 2 piloting skill checks. Womp womp. So our Rifleman's at 5 heat, Gladiator's at 5 heat, Warhammer's at 5 heat, everybody else is cool. All right, here we go. All right, I'm going to hold off on the Rifleman for just a little bit, and we'll try to figure out what to do with him in a minute. I don't like it. I don't like being at the back end of initiative. You know, fortunately, even if the Warhammer gets up, it can't go far. I kind of just want to close the distance. I think we'll do that. Okay. Cool beans. We'll risk it. So 2 piloting skill checks, need to do a 3 on both, and we succeed. Well, that's not good. That's not good at all. My friends, we may be surrounded. Everybody stays standing during all their checks. This is good. I am legitimately a little worried about my Shadowhawk and my Gladiator. They are in a very target-rich environment. So I think we just unload on everything, because it's kind of a do or a die moment. Even with a 12 to hit on the LRM, I'd rather waste the ammo on the off chance that it can hit rather than assume that it won't hit. Unfortunately, I can really only fire 1 PPC off the Rifleman this turn without him just completely overheating. Now the question is, do I twist and shoot into the rifleman with the gladiator, or do I try to deal with one of the lighter mechs in hopes that I can take 2 guns out this turn? I kind of want to try to take 2 guns out this turn, especially if I can hit with an SRM-6. That'd be fine. But also conservation of fire or concentration of fire would dictate that you have to shoot at the Warhammer. It's 7 to hit on the Warhammer. It's a 9 to hit on the Stinger. I think we do the Warhammer like that, and we hope for the best. So the Stinger on the Shadowhawk misses with everything. Our Shadowhawk hits with a medium laser into the left arm of the Warhammer, hits the AC-5 in the center torso, misses the LRM, big surprise. SRM-2 hits with 1 missile, doing 2 damage to the left leg. It is down to 0 armor. The Warhammer does bad things to the Shadowhawk. Medium laser into the left arm, small laser into the right leg, small laser into the left leg, machine gun goes into the left arm. SRM-6 hits with 2 of the 6 missiles, doing 2 damage to the left leg and 2 damage to the left arm. The Wasp into our Shadowhawk hits with the medium laser into the right leg. The Whitworth fires against the Wasp, putting a medium laser into the left torso, and then destroys the right leg with another medium laser. Another medium laser to the center torso. It is down to 1 armor. The Stinger, firing at our Shadowhawk, hits the left torso with a medium laser, hits the right arm with a machine gun, and then misses with another machine gun. Our Rifleman hits the right arm with a PPC. Is down to 9 internal structure. Gladiator hits with an SRM-6 with 5 of its missiles, doing 2 damage to the left torso, 2 damage to the right arm, critting with no effect. Another 2 damage to the left leg, critting with no effect. 2 damage to the right leg, critting on the foot, and then another 2 damage to the right leg. The right leg is down to 11 internal structure, hits the left torso with a medium laser and misses with the last medium laser. Enemy Shadowhawk misses. Enemy Wasp misses the Rifleman. So our Shadowhawk stays standing. The Wasp lost the leg, automatically fails, goes onto the right torso, destroys the right torso, blows off its right arm. The pilot fails to avoid damage, takes an additional point of damage, is now at 2 damage and blacks out. They're having a bad day. The Warhammer has to make 2 checks because it took 20 damage and it's got a damaged actuator. Succeeds on the first one, fails on the second one, falls, takes 7 points of damage, 5 to the right torso, 2 to the left arm. But the pilot avoids damage. Good news, guys. The Warhammer won't kick us. I was legitimately worried about that stupid Warhammer kicking us. But we can kick the Warhammer. And it's a 2 to hit. I'm totally cool with that. We're not going to do anything with our Archer. Let's kick at the Stinger. It's a 7 to hit. Here's the hoping. So the Stinger kicks the right leg of the Shadowhawk. It's got 4 armor remaining to the right leg. Shadowhawk, yes, kicks the right leg of the Warhammer, destroying the right leg. That Warhammer will not be standing up anytime soon. The Wasp misses the Gladiator. Gladiator kicks the Stinger in the right leg, destroying the right leg because it crits it and blows it off. So Shadowhawk stays standing, Wasp stays standing. Stinger automatically falls because it lost a leg, falls onto his left leg somehow, doing 2 damage. The pilot suffers 2 damage. The pilot fails to avoid damage and takes a hit. Oh, that was gratifying. All right, our Rifleman is at 1 heat, Gladiator is at 4 heat. Our ally Whitworth is at 3 heat. A couple other folks are a little warm, but nobody's too hot. Oh, and we win initiative, which is really nice. I really need to help my riflemen out, and that's what I'm a little worried about. I kind of want to bring my archer here so you can fire on the wasp. That to hit is going to suck, but maybe it'll work out. Maybe. Who's to say? I think we just do that and hope for the best. Fortunately, hoping for the best has kind of worked out for us so far. I keep forgetting to check the height of buildings before I back up against them, because a height 1 building would be no good for us to back up against. Oh, the Warhammer ejected. Good things to know. You're not on a building, are you? No, it's just an improved position. I'm actually more worried about this stinger than I am about that one. So it's a 4 to not fall. Ah! Good. Good, 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 good. This is good. What to do, what to do. It's a height 1, so we can shoot over it. I think we do that. We'll ignore that stinger for right now. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not fleeing the battlefield. Even if MegaMek tries to say it flees the battlefield, it doesn't flee the battlefield. What are you going to do? Hop away? Hop, hop, hop. All right, so Stinger tries to get up, falls, takes 2 damage to the left leg. The pilot takes an additional damage. Warhammer tries to get up, falls, or no, sorry. The Warhammer, the pilot ejects, tries to land safely, needs an 11, fails, takes an additional point of damage, but stays awake. The Shadowhawk stays standing, Gladiator stays standing. Guys, I think we can get a 3rd Warhammer. It's very exciting. So it's a 7 to hit against the Wasp. If we twist, we cannot hit the Shadowhawk. We'll shoot at the Wasp. 40 LRMs coming your way. It'll be, nothing could go wrong. That's neat. Nah. Okay, so we're done firing with you. The Shadowhawk zeros on the Stinger. So it's a 6 on the medium laser, a 9 on the AC5, LRM, forget about it. SRM2, we can do that. For the riflemen, 10 on the PPC, 9 on the medium laser, or 9 on the PPC. We'll do the medium lasers. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 medium lasers into a Wasp. I don't think that... Actually, hold on. Wait. or we shoot at a heavy laser. I think that might be the better idea. So 4s on the PPCs. We'll get warm. It's fine. Then the Gladiator, it's a 7 to hit the Stinger. It'd be a lot more to hit the Wasp. Not worried about the Wasp right now. We'll do that. Or do we just do the SRM? So it's a 6 to hit on the SRM, 6 on the medium laser. We'll do that. That will be great. So we're 1 hour into the stream, guys. I just want to give you a quick reminder. If you're enjoying this stream, if you're enjoying this content, go ahead and just hit the follow button for Twitch. It would really mean a lot. That way, more people can hear about it, and you can come back and join whenever you would like. If you're watching this later on YouTube, I really encourage you to hit the like button and maybe subscribe to the channel. Now, what happens with weapon attack? So the Allied Crusader fires at the Wasp, misses with a medium laser, misses, and hits with an SRM-6 with all 6 missiles, doing 2 damage to the left leg, 2 damage to the center torso, critting, another 2 damage to the left torso, critting on a heat sink, 2 damage to the left arm, 2 more damage to the center torso, and 2 damage to the left torso, critting a whole, or getting a lot of crits, but no effect. The LRM-10 also hits the Wasp, destroying the left arm, doing 1 damage to the right arm, 1 damage to the right torso, 1 damage to the center, 5 damage to the left arm, and then 1 damage to the right arm, which transfers twice into the center torso. The Archer misses with one of the LRMs, hits with the other one, 12 missiles hit, 5 damage to the right arm, another 5 damage to the right arm, destroying the right arm, transferring 3 damage to the right torso, and it's down to 1 armor, and then 2 additional damage to the right torso, because, why not? The Stinger into the Gladiator, medium laser hits the center torso, and then a medium laser hits the right arm. The Wasp misses with everything. Our Shadowhawk hits the left arm of the Stinger with a medium laser. It's down to 1 armor. The SRM hits with both of the missiles, doing 2 damage to the left arm, critting and blowing the arm off, and then 2 damage to the center torso. Heavy laser misses with its large laser. The Whitworth misses with all the things. The Stinger misses with everything. The Wasp hits our Rifleman in the left leg with a medium laser, misses the SRM. Our Rifleman hits with both of its PPCs, thankfully, doing a total of 20 damage, doing possible crits, but not actually critting. The enemy Shadowhawk only hits the Crusader with an LRM-5 and hits with 4 of the missiles, doing 4 damage to the right torso. And then the Gladiator hits the Stinger with 2 of its 6 SRMs, doing 2 damage to the right arm, 2 damage to the left torso, and missed the medium laser. Not too exciting that time. Give me 1 second, guys. The joys of having children when they wake up and start crying for no reason. So if my daughter doesn't quiet down in like the next 15 minutes, I might have to step away for a few minutes just to take care of her and then come right back. Anywho's, we should have a Shadowhawk kick a Stinger. 4 to hit. I like those odds. Gladiator, do nothing. So the Stinger misses. Shadowhawk hits the left leg of the Stinger, doing 11 damage, destroying the left leg. Wasp kicks the right leg of the Shadowhawk. It's down to 0 armor, unfortunately. The Shadowhawk stays standing. Stinger automatically falls because it lost the leg, taking 2 damage to the left leg, which transfers to the left torso. And then the pilot also takes 1 point of damage. Rifleman's at 6 heat. Everybody else is fairly low on heat or at 0 heat. The unconscious pilot woke up finally. Good for him. And with that, we kind of win initiative, mostly. So the Stinger ejected. What to do, what to do. I don't like any of these options. All right, well, what to do, what to do. Do we go to that Stinger? I don't think so. I think we go ahead and move the Archer forward. I want the Shadowhawk to try to close the distance with us, so I want to kind of tease it in a little. So we'll walk forward with the Archer and we'll see what happens from there. Herbita. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to back up like that. This is messy. Let's do that and see what happens. I think maybe we do that and I can get rid of that Stinger, hopefully. So it's a 3 and a 4. Here's the hoping. So Stinger tried to get up, fell, hurt itself. Pilot takes another damage. The other Stinger ejected. Wasp ejected. Shadowhawk stayed standing during all of its running. All right, guys, I am going to take a very short, hopefully, like 5-minute break to go up and try to calm my daughter down really fast. So get up, stretch your legs, grab a glass of water, or just keep doing whatever it is that you're doing, and I will be right back. Don't go away. So naturally, in the way that a 2-year-old is, you get up there and you're about to walk into the door and it goes silent. Because that's what they do. That is exactly what they do. One might even say they are emotional terrorists, which I would agree with. Now then, we need to declare fire. What to do, what to do. I think we just twist and shoot at the stinger. I think that's what we do. Ooh, actually, stand by. It's like the one time the rear firing medium lasers come in handy. Boop, boop. So A for a medium laser, I'm okay with that. AC 511, ugh. It'll be okay. It'll buff. SRM2 is an 8. We'll take that. We'll put a PPC into the stinger on a 9, hopefully. As for the Gladiator, medium laser, and SRM into the... hold on. Twist. So medium laser, and SRM into the Wasp on 8s. I am okay with those odds. Crusader misses everything. Our Archer into the stinger hits with both of those medium lasers, hitting into the left leg, destroying the left leg. The Wasp puts 2 SRM missiles into the Crusader, doing 4 damage to the left leg. The Wasp misses with everything, or another Wasp misses with everything. Our Shadowhawk misses with everything. Enemy Stinger misses. Whitworth hits the Stinger with an LRM-10 for the 10 missiles hit, doing 4 damage to the center torso. Heavy laser turret hits the left leg of the Rifleman. It is down to 6 internal structure. Not so great. The Rifleman misses. Enemy Shadowhawk into the Crusader hits with his AC-5 into the left arm, medium laser into the right leg. SRM-2 hits with 2 of 2, doing 2 damage to the left arm and 2 damage to the rear right torso, but misses with its LRM. Gladiator hits the Wasp with its medium laser into the left leg and does nothing else. Stinger falls, does 2 damage to its left torso, and does 1 damage to the pilot. Can't really do anything to the Stinger. So we'll skip the Archer. Shadowhawk can absolutely kick a Stinger. The Rifleman, not a whole lot to do there. And then the Gladiator, also not a whole lot to do, honestly. Because we're not going to step on the pilot. I don't believe in that. So the Wasp kicks the Crusader, hits the left leg, and then our Shadowhawk kicks the Stinger, doing 11 damage to the rear right torso, destroying the right torso, blowing off the right arm, transferring forward to the center torso. It is now down to 0 armor. Crusader stays standing because it was kicked. The Whitworth is up to 6 heat. Everybody else is low or no heat. And we win initiative, which is neat. Kind of. So the Rifleman, we just need to get it someplace where it stops getting shot. So I'm really tempted just to do that, because then we can hopefully stop getting hit from that stupid heavy turret. So Stinger ejected. See if we can't get someplace where we can start hurting that Shadowhawk a little. I am sorely tempted to do that and just try to get a PPC on the Shadowhawk. What building is it standing on? It's not standing on a building. What if I do that? Or that. So a 3 and a 4, we'll risk it for the biscuit, and we fail. We finally missed a piloting skill roll. Let's see what we can do. So Stinger ejected, destroyed. Gladiator succeeded on its first skill check and failed on a 3. So it falls, goes 0 level, or falls 0 levels, takes a total of 6 damage, 5 to the left leg, 1 to the right torso, but the pilot avoids taking damage. Skids, does another 6 damage, doing 5 to the right leg, 1 to the left arm, and then the skid ends. Stinger attempts to get up, falls, does more damage to the left arm. Pilot takes another hit and blacks out. The Stinger is killing itself. Not a lot for the Archer to do, unfortunately. So the Shadowhawk can get the Wasp on a 10, or the Shadowhawk on a 7 with its medium laser. The AC5 would be an 8 on the Wasp, or a 10 on the Shadowhawk. The risk from the Wasp is fairly low overall, so I think we probably need to put the damage into the Shadowhawk. So we'll do the medium laser AC5 and the SRM into the Shadowhawk. The Rifleman, we'll see what we can't do about this happy little Wasp. It's nice to hit, unfortunately, but we'll see if we can't do it with at least a few of them. Especially if we can get a leg hit. I don't think its legs are much longer for this world. Well, it's the left leg anyways. Really, it's a Wasp, so no, the legs are not much longer for this world. We'll go ahead and try with the medium lasers against the Wasp. I don't have a lot of confidence, but we'll see. So Wasp into the Crusader misses. Crusader into the Shadowhawk hits with a medium laser and another medium laser, doing 5 damage to the left arm and 5 damage to the left leg. And then SRM6 hits with all 6 missiles. This Crusader is rocking it right now. 2 damage to the center torso, 2 damage to the left arm, 2 damage to the center torso, 2 damage to the left leg, critting on the lower leg, 2 damage to the right torso, and 2 damage to the right arm. And then the LRM-10 also hits with 8 of the missiles, doing 5 damage to the left leg, critting and blowing off the left leg. Amazing. And then 3 damage to the right arm. The Wasp against the Gladiator hits with the SRM-2. Only one of the missiles hits. 2 damage to the left arm. Our Shadowhawk hits into their Shadowhawk with the medium laser into the right leg, the AC-5 into the right torso, and the SRM-2 hits with both of the missiles going into the right leg and the left torso. The Whitworth misses. The enemy Shadowhawk into the Crusader only hits with the AC-5 into the left torso. Our Rifleman against the Wasp misses with everything. The heavy laser turret misses. Gladiator misses. Enemy Shadowhawk falls because it lost the leg, dealing 6 damage, taking 5 damage to the head, doing 1 hit of damage, and then 1 damage to the left arm. Again, the pilot takes 1 damage, now at 2 damage total, but does manage to stay conscious. I feel like we've gotten very lucky, and I am worried about karma later. So we're going to kick the Shadowhawk with a Shadowhawk, little Shadowhawk on Shadowhawk action. The Archer is going to chill. So our Shadowhawk kicks the other Shadowhawk in the left arm, and it's down to 1 internal structure. Enemy Wasp misses the Gladiator. Wasp missed a kick, needs to roll a 6, rolls a 5, falls, takes 2 damage to the left or the right leg, 3 armor remaining, but the pilot avoids damage. All of our mechs are at 0 heat. Everybody else is at low or no heat. We lost initiative hard, so we'll go first. Their Shadowhawk is not going anywhere. The Wasp, we'll see if it actually ends up getting up. I think the big thing right now is to just get up and get away. So need a 4. Can we do it? We did it. Now then, what to do, what to do. I mean, I think we've actually met the objectives to win, so I should probably look at that again. So we needed to destroy 75% of the Op4 and Recon mechs combined, and that's only Recon Mech 1. So the Op4, let's close these guys up. So the Op4 was 2 of the Wasps, Warhammer, and Shadowhawk. So at least one of the Wasps has been completely incapacitated. The Warhammer is gone. The Shadowhawk is incapacitated at the very least. And then 2 of the Stingers. So this one, which is crippled. And then this one, which was Recon Mechs 2. Where's the other Stinger at? That's the Warhammer. Where'd the other one die at? Well, I only see 1 Stinger left. That was a Wasp. There's that Wasp. Oh, it was that one. Yeah, so both of the Recon Stingers are gone. We have definitely met our objectives. It's exciting. So before we get to the heat phase, we'll type out that beautiful phrase. Well, with that all being said and done, because this Wasp actually doesn't matter at all. So we're going to have the Rifleman just chill. The Shadowhawk can come in and turn a couple of times. Oh, good. The Shadowhawk's pilot just knocked himself out. The Wasp managed to get up and fly away. Good for him. So the Shadowhawk tries to get up, falls, takes 5 damage to the left torso, 1 damage to the right arm. The pilot takes 1 additional damage, needed a 7 to stay conscious, rolls a 4 and blacks out. And is now immobile. It is a 6 to hit the head. I'm not a nice person. We'll do that. So we'll see if we can't hit the Wasp. It's an 8 with the medium laser, a 9 with the AC5. We'll skip the LRM, and it's a 2, or it's an 8 for the SRM2. So we'll do that. The Rifleman can't do a whole lot. We can throw a couple of PPCs down towards the Stinger. Then lastly, the Gladiator. It's 8s into the Wasp for the PPC. And we'll do that. See what happens. So the Archer puts a medium laser to the center torso of the Shadowhawk. Our Shadowhawk hits with one of the SRM missiles into the left leg, critting on the left leg, taking out the SRM2. Allied Crusader into the Shadowhawk hits the right leg, which was their aimed location. The LRM-10 also hits, doing 5 damage to the left torso, 1 damage to the right arm. LRM-10 puts 4 missiles into the left torso. The PPC from the Rifleman just guts the Stinger and takes out the center torso. The other one is just for funsies, but it also does really bad things. The Wasp hits with its SRM-2 into our Shadowhawk, doing 2 damage to the left torso, 2 damage to the left leg. Gladiator hits with the PPC into the left torso of the Wasp. It's down to 1 internal structure and critting with no effect. Whitworth into the Shadowhawk hits with its LRMs, doing 5 damage to the right torso, 1 damage to the right leg, 3 damage to the right leg. We'll kick a Shadowhawk. Do you think we can make a -2 roll? We'll find out. Skip and skip, because we don't want to kick ourselves. And I think that we can say victory. Done. And voila. Why, yes, I do want a GIF. Do you guys, when you see GIF, do you say GIF or GIF? Because I've heard both. All right. So we absolutely did retain the battlefield. I feel like we were victorious in that. Rip. Next. All of our pilots are doing pretty good. I don't think the turrets ran away, friends. The undamaged Wasp, of course, ran away. The crippled Wasp also probably was able to run away. Nobody else ran away. Yeah, you're associated with that, right? Okay. So with that being said and done, what do we want? We could do a Warhammer. We could do a Shadowhawk. It would put us a little over on our salvage, but not too bad. Another Shadowhawk wouldn't be terrible. We have enough Warhammers, I feel like, but another Shadowhawk would not be bad. Kind of want the Shadowhawk. If if I'm being honest, alternatively, we could. So I was spending a little time today reading through the glossary of MegaMek, which I probably should have done at literally any point in time before this. But I didn't realize that if you have a scout lance and all of the mechs are, or the entire lance is comprised of mechs under 35 tons, if you're using the scout, like the advanced scouting option, that you get a whole bunch of really great bonuses to your scouting on the area of operations or on StratCon. Essentially, you do an additional roll every day to see if your scouting lance comes back early, and they're able, hopefully, to scout out an additional like grid out or hex out. I think we're gonna do the Shadowhawk though. All right, so Shadowhawk didn't really get killed. At least one of these stingers was from the Shadowhawk. Another stinger was the Archer. Wasp, that one was one of our allies. The Warhammer was the Shadowhawk. Yeah, our Shadowhawk did work. The Shadowhawk did not go away. All right, and with that one is all done. So Newton gets a bronze star for 4 kills in that scenario. And there we are. Good deal. So we just have to wait for Baker Lance to come back. We also now have acquired a data center. So hopefully they can stop putting all of those recon lances at us, which would be neat. Better take a look. Oh, of course, I have to assign a tech to the Shadowhawk. Assign tech. Oh, interesting. So in this version, interesting. So they've added, it used to be that when you were assigning a tech, it just showed you how many minutes were available for the tech. And so as you essentially assigned more and more maintenance onto it, it would have less and less and less availability. But now it tells you, look, this mech is going to require 240 minutes every maintenance cycle. So depending on what your maintenance cycle is that you selected in the campaign options, we'll take a look really quick here. Let it load up. What is it? Logistics, maintenance and repairs, maintenance. So base maintenance cycle on like normal, the beginner difficulty, every 7 days you are doing maintenance on your mechs while you're on contract. When you're at peace, then it's every 28 days. So every 7 days, your tech will need 240 of its minutes in order to be able to do maintenance. I like that. I really like that a lot. I feel like that makes a lot more sense. And then the total amount of minutes is actually determined by like the, if I remember correctly, the administration of the tech, depending on what settings you have on. I really like that. Okay, so there's that. We have a longbow that's in transit. Does anybody else need? Nope. Okay. So let's go ahead and jump over to the repair bay. The Commando and the Shadowhawk are there. Are we missing anything? Yes. What are we missing? We need an AC5. So let's go ahead and order up a couple of those. And it'll get here eventually. Kind of forgot about this Grasshopper, and I'm very excited for it. So we have some stuff that's in transit for this Grasshopper, but let's go ahead and at least get started. So center torso. I remember why I wasn't repairing these things now. That's okay. What is the Commando at now? So what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the quality of the mech and like how well things have been maintained, because the better maintained they are, the easier they are to repair. We can at least get started on the Commando though. We can take a 4. That should be fine. Armor is a 6. That's fine. Fine. More armor. Reloading things. So repairing the engine, probably should have somebody who can do their job. Now, Ilyani, if you're still watching, I have a question for you. Is this, I'm guessing this is a typo right here, where it has the repair standard gyro 2-ton right there, and then I'm guessing this is just something that didn't get taken out. I'll come back to that. Okay, cool. Do you want me to put in a like a ticket for that? Would that be helpful? Yeah, you got it. Let me just make a quick note. Quick note. Okie dokes. I am just going to make a text document. Things to report. Boop. All right. Okay, cool. There we go. And we take a quick picture because things are easier with pictures. Ta-da! Okay, cool. Oh, okay. Sounds good. I can definitely do that. Okie dokes. Next one. So let's go ahead and jump over to the Shadowhawk. We can replace a little bit of the missing armor. You know, as short as we are on armor, I need to order more. Why don't we hold off on repairing the Shadowhawk until we know how badly we're going to be hurting on things, because it's going to take us a while to get the armor pulled in. Parts in use, armor, standard, buy in bulk, 10? 10 should be fine. 10 is a good start. All right, let's go ahead. So one thing we didn't go through is with the new month, we have 25 patent personnel who gain vocational XP. The unit market got updated, so there's some new stuff. Got a fire starter, Shadowhawk, Cicada, Ostrock. Let's take a look at the Ostrock. So Ostrock, 60-ton mech. It's 5.8 movement. It's got a couple large lasers, a couple medium lasers, and an SRM-4. It's got 99 internal structure, 144 armor. It gets hot if you decide that you want to shoot with everything. It gets very, very hot. So not the best thing in the world, but could be worse. There's a Cyclops here, which has an AC 20 for a brain. Firestarter, Stinger, Flashbang, Commando. Cool. That's all great. Now, for our next campaign, we're going to be bringing in a lot more vehicles, just so you guys know, because I miss using vehicles. There's all of that. Let's go to the next day. Okay, our employer has a delivery ready for us, but is offering to expand it if we can offer our own transport. They're offering a delivery of 16 tons if we can provide our own, otherwise just 4. We have 20 tons of space available. We are going to use our convoy. So do we want balanced, armor, or ammunition? Based on everything we've seen so far, I think that armor would be a little bit more important. So we can get 240 armor. As well as some other role-playing stuff. The value is 150,000 C-bills. We're going to pay 112,000, which I am very okay with. So we'll do that. Now, with this contract, we just have to wait a couple more days. Bakerland should be coming back tomorrow. We found all of our armor. It'll be delivered eventually. All right, it is battle day. So we'll have the stream go a little bit longer today. We'll go ahead and do the next battle and to see how things go. And of course, our person who's going crazy is still going crazy. We have reached our maximum of 3 support points. Now, let's take a quick look before we jump into everything. Let's take a look at our mech warriors, since a lot of people did get some XP. So our Shadowhawk pilot has 29 XP. Do we have enough to be able to do anything? Current skills. Yes, we can go up on gunnery or piloting. Of course, we choose gunnery. We must shoot gooder. Our green pilot and the Stinger, I am sure, can go up on something. It can go up on piloting, so they are now a 5-5, which is much more gooders. Probably can't do anything with them. Let's take a look at this pilot. They are a 5-6. I think they can probably go up to being a 5-5 as well. They can. This one is a 5-4. Probably can't do anything with you. Okay. And then for our techs, we'll go ahead and do mass training and see what we can do. Primary role. MekTech. And see what we can do. And we want to do Tech Mech. Tech Mech. Only one can go up, so we do the thing. All right, and last but not least, our admins. Yeah, nobody's going up. Okay. Let's jump on in. So as a reminder, this is a recon mission. A hidden enemy control facility has been identified for destruction. We are destroying, not capturing. The victor will control the field of battle. They will have 2 additional lances of scout mechs coming in. And we destroy 75% of the forces, Op 4 and Recon 1. Their Op 4 is composed of a Vulcan, 2 Warhammers, and 2 Wasps. Oof. And then that initial Recon lance is going to be 2 additional Wasps. And yet more Wasps. They are bringing 2, 4, 6 Wasps to the fight. Our allies are bringing an Archer with a really bad pilot and a Wolverine with a bad pilot. And then we, of course, are bringing our Grasshopper, Guillotine, Stalker, and Warhammer. Let's go. we are not reading that again. Wait for everybody to load in. And we should be good to go. All right, let's move on. All right, so we're kind of in the middle of the initiative. Their additional units will come in on round 3. Boop. Gotta get everything set up just so. All right. So coming in from the south, they are all going to be deploying probably towards the middle, if I remember correctly. Oh, okay. So here's a tip. So in the command center, parts in use report, check the box at the bottom for add part to order. Let's just jump over there really quick and take a look. So command center, parts in use report, and then at the very bottom, boop, add part orders to fill requested stock levels weekly. So you can click this if you don't want to have to micromanage your inventory. You set the minimum levels of the armor and ammo to something above what you think you'll use up, and then it's automatically ordered every single week. That way you're not having to sit there and micromanage your inventory. Thank you, Valcronis. Valcronis, thank you so much. That's a great tip. Let's see what we want to do. I think we bring in a Warhammer here. I mean, at the end of the day, we can always move around a little bit. Put the stalker there-ish. And then we can have our grasshopper and our guillotine come in on this side and just close the distance. Interesting. So their 2 Warhammers are just kind of exposed and in the middle for everybody to look at, which is a choice. It's a very strong choice. It's not the choice I would have made, but it's a choice. Yeah, we'll do that. Again, an interesting choice. So for our Stalker, LRMs onto the Warhammer are an 11 to hit. Or that's about it. That's all it's going to reach that far. We can hope for the best. Why not? We'll hope for the best. Wishful thinking. For the Warhammer, that is a 9 on the PPC. We can get a little warm to start off with and fire both of our PPCs and go 3 over on heat. I think that's fine. with our Grasshopper, we are at long range for our medium lasers, and it's a 9 to hit. It's a 7 on the large laser, and it's 7 on the LRM. Let's do a large laser LRM, and then we can load up the rest of our heat sinks with medium lasers. I think that's very reasonable. Then just outside of range for the medium lasers on the guillotine, which means we'll be outside of range for the SRMs as well, but we're in range for the large laser. It's an 8. I'll take it. Let's see what happens. So for our Stalker, one LRM hits, 1 misses, 6 missiles hit, doing 5 damage to the center torso, 1 damage to, or a total of 6 damage to the center torso for the Warhammer. Our Warhammer hits with 1 PPC, also into the center torso, doing another 10 damage. It's down to 6 armor on the center torso. Already not a great start for that Warhammer. Enemy Warhammer misses with both of their PPCs. Light missile turret firing LRMs at our guillotine hits with 3 missiles, doing 3 damage to the center torso. Our Grasshopper misses with everything. Our guillotine hits the right torso with a large laser. It's down to 9 armor. The Vulcan fires an AC-2 and misses. The Warhammer took more than 20 damage and stays standing. Nobody can do physical attacks. Let's move on. Heat. The Warhammers are a little warm, but nothing to be worried about. And then we, again, pretty much lose initiative. With that, we'll just kind of keep closing the distance with the Stalker. And we can also move up just a little bit with the Warhammer. Yeah, I think we'll just do that. Because you're not a swamp, right? No, you're just jungle. Okay, so we can do that. And that will give us a little bit of additional cover for our Grasshopper and our guillotine. Stalker can at least shoot the Wasp, but it's a 13 to hit. That's no good. What do we have on the turret? So it's a 6 to hit on the light missile turret, and then a 6 on the light laser turret. Let's just shoot at the missile turret. I think that'll get us some good results. We're out of range with everything else, so we're done. And then for our PPCs, 11 to hit with the Warhammer, or against the Wasp, or outer range for the missile turrets. Sad day. Well, we can fire with 1 PPC. I guess that's fine. Maybe a miracle will happen. Grasshopper. Wasp is a 10 with the medium laser. It's an 8 on the large laser. Warhammer is a 6 with the large laser and a 6 on the LRM. Let's do that. I like that. For the guillotine, because you jumped, everything is bad. So it's an 11 on the large laser. We'll just do that for right now and it'll be fine. All right, so the Stalker hits the stationary building with one of its 2 LRM-10s, doing 6 damage. We have a long ways to go. Enemy Warhammer misses with 2 PPCs. Our Warhammer misses with a PPC. Enemy Warhammer misses with 2 PPCs. The light missile turret fires at the friendly archer, hitting with a total of 7 missiles, doing 2 damage to the center torso and 5 damage to the left torso. Our Grasshopper against the Warhammer hits with a large laser into the left arm, and the LRM-5 hits with 3 missiles into the right leg. Guillotine misses. Wasp misses. Vulcan misses. Everybody is missing. Nobody can shoot. Enemy warhammers are getting warmer. Everybody else cooled down. And we win initiative. So we will go last. However, enemy reinforcements have arrived. And the recon mechs that we actually have to destroy are the ones that decided to appear right next to us. So we have 2 wasps, if I remember correctly, that have just appeared next to us, which is a-okay fine. I don't want to close the distance anymore with the warhammers, especially because we're going to be a little distracted by a couple of wasps. I think we can do that. And then the guillotine can do something fairly similar. Oh, no, we can't. But he can't jump. Jumping boots ain't broken. Okay, good. And that's what I was hoping for. I was hoping that some of those wasps in the south would actually move so that then we could actually react to them a little bit. Yeah, we'll do that. Hopefully I can just get both these wasps out this round, and then we just don't have to worry about it. So the medium lasers are an 8. The SRMs will also be an 8. Large laser should also be an 8. So to increase our chances, let's do medium, 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 and maybe a couple of SRMs and call it a day. And then against this wasp, I think a medium laser, small laser, machine gun, SRM, medium laser, small, machine gun. I think that'll be a nice little smorgasbord. As for these guys, can't really hit with a whole lot. Oh, hello. Yes, large laser and an LRM with an 8 and a 6. I will take that. And then the Vulcan, probably not going to be able to do a whole lot. Nope. It's a big old nope. We're going to skip the guillotine this turn and not worry too much about it. Ally Wolverine missed with everything. The enemy Warhammer missed. Our Stalker hits with 1 medium laser into the left torso, another medium laser into the left arm, critting on the upper arm. SRM-6 misses. SRM-6 hits with 5 of the 6 missiles, doing 2 damage to the right leg, 2 damage to the right leg, 2 damage to the center torso, another 2 damage to the left arm, destroying the left arm, and then 2 more damage to the right torso. The enemy Wasp into the Archer hits with a medium laser and SRM-2, doing 5 damage to the right arm, 2 damage to the center torso rear, and another 2 damage to the center torso rear. Our Warhammer into the other Wasp hits with a lot of stuff. Medium laser into the center torso, small laser into the right leg, a machine gun into the center torso, critting on a jump jet. SRM-6 hits with all 4 or with 4 of the 6 missiles, doing 2 damage to the right arm. really a total of 4 damage to the right arm, total of 4 damage to the left arm, and then the medium laser into the right arm, which destroys the right arm, neato, transferring 2 damage to the right torso, and missing with everything else. The light missile turret hits the archer with 1 missile out of its LRM-5s, doing 1 damage to the left torso. Allied archer misses. Grasshopper misses. Vulcan misses. Both of the wasps stay standing. But hopefully we can kick you. Oh, I like where this is going. So Wolverine misses the punch on the wasp. The wasp successfully kicks the right leg of the archer, doing 4 damage. The Warhammer hits the right leg of the wasp, destroying the right leg, transferring 8 damage to the right torso, critting on 2 heat sinks, and is down to 1 internal structure. The wasp automatically falls because it lost a leg, doing 2 more damage to the right torso, destroying the right torso, transferring 1 to the center torso, doing 3 crits, critting on the gyro, engine, and jump jet. The pilot takes 1 damage, but does stay conscious. The archer, naturally, it falls, dealing 7 damage to itself, doing 5 damage to the right arm and 2 damage to the right leg. That pilot does, however, avoid damage. Good job, guys. Good job. Well done. The enemy wasp that took the engine hit gains 12 heat, gains 12 heat. Sinks 7, is now at 5 heat. The allies are warm. Everybody else is cool. We lost initiative for the most part. Well, I am guessing that this wasp is probably going to be ejecting very soon. So we'll try to get back up into the forest, see if we can't get some shots on 2 things. Yep, that wasp ejected. See if we can't get the Warhammer over where it can do some more damage on the other Warhammer. I really want to see what that wasp does so that we can try to counter it, but I don't think that we're going to get that lucky. I think it's going to be the last thing to move. Well, I think we're just going to have to take the hits from it this round and then figure it out next round. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are now 2 hours into our stream. This is just another gentle reminder. If you have been watching and enjoying the stream, I really would love it if you would just give the stream a follow. It means a lot if you do that. Helps me gain a little bit of notice on Twitch, and just kind of a feel good. So hit that follow button if you don't mind. So with the movement phase, the archer manages to get up, the wasp ejects and is destroyed. Interesting. The other, I bet he's going to run away next turn. I think that's what's probably going to happen. So LRMs against the Warhammer, that's a 12. It's forget about it against the Wasp. Against the light missile turret, it's a 6. I think we go against the light missile turret just because it's what we can hit. So we'll do both the LRMs, and we're out of range with everything else. So we're done there. with the Warhammer. No, we're just out of range. Oh, that is so unfortunate. So very, very unfortunate. So we'll skip the Warhammer. With the Grasshopper, medium lasers are a 6 to hit. Yes, please. And we should be able to do things with the... Oh, whoops. Every now and then there's a delay or a lag. I accidentally hit one thing too many. So we're going to go a little warm on the Grasshopper and waste some LRMs, but it's going to be fine. No big deal. So it's going to be 8s on everything with the Guillotine. I'm going to go ahead and risk it and fire the large laser. Big risk, but big reward. We'll go up to 1 heat and call it a day. Enemy Warhammer against the Guillotine misses. Stalker misses the stationary building. I'll let you figure that one out. The other enemy Warhammer misses with everything against the Guillotine. Our Grasshopper, medium laser hits the right leg. Medium laser hits the head, doing 5 damage. It's down to 4 armor, and the pilot takes 1 hit. Medium laser into the left torso. Medium laser into the center torso. Large laser misses. LRM misses naturally. Light missile turret against the archer hits with 5 missiles, doing 5 damage to the right arm. Our Guillotine hits with a medium laser into the left leg, and another medium laser into the left leg, but misses with everything else. The Wasp misses. Enemy Warhammer needs to roll a 7 to stay standing, rolls an 11. Good for him. Some heat things happen. Nothing too exciting there. On to the next round, where we again pretty much just lose initiative. I am betting that Wasp right here is going to run away. So we're going to gradually close the distance with our Stalker and our Warhammer. But I'm just going to stick to walking for right now because I don't want to gain a lot in the way of hit modification. Now, what to do here? I don't want to be in a place where that Warhammer can be standing 1 level up and kick me in the head. That just seems like a bad idea. Alrighty then. Oh, hey, look, the Wasp did not leave the field of battle. Isn't that nice? But the Wolverine should be able to take care of him without too much of a problem. Alright, so Stalker into the Warhammer. LRMs are a 9 to hit. Large laser would be an 11 to hit. Medium lasers are a forget about it. Or LRMs can go to the Vulcan, which would be 10s. Or into, what is that, a Wasp? Which would be an 11. I think I'll take the 9s. Thank you very much. And because energy is free, I'm not going to go up to 1 heat because it just doesn't seem worth it. So we'll be done there. Now the Warhammer, PPCs, and we're taking a hit because we're firing through woods and into some more woods, so that is kind of a bumpski. But it's still a 10 to hit with the PPCs. I think that it's worth it to fire 1 into there and see what happens. So the other Warhammer is in range of our Grasshopper. It's an 8 on the large laser and a 6 on the LRM. I think that's very fine. And then the Guillotine interestingly enough, does have shots on the Wasp. It's an 8 on the large laser to hit, and then it would be a 10s on the medium laser. So I think that we can do some laser action. I don't want to go over on heat because I don't think it's worth it. And I don't want to waste the SRM ammo. I like what I saw for a second. So, Stalker, firing at the Warhammer. LRM-10 hits with 3 missiles, doing 3 damage to the right leg. Large laser hits the center torso, doing 8 damage. Gets down to internal structure, critting on an engine. Our Warhammer hits with the PPC on a 10, which is pretty nice. Critting on the small laser is down to 14 internal structure. The enemy Warhammer fires twice and misses. The other enemy Warhammer fires once and misses. Allied Wolverine against the Wasp misses. Light missile turret against the Stalker hits with a grand total of 6 missiles, doing a total of 6 damage to the left arm. Enemy Wasp misses. Grasshopper into the Warhammer. Back Warhammer hits with a large laser into the center torso. The enemy Wasp misses. Our Guillotine hits with a medium laser into the Wasp, doing 5 damage to the left torso. And then the Vulcan misses. Archer misses. Warhammer needs a 9 to stay standing. Rolls a 5. Falls down. Takes 5 damage to the left arm. 2 damage to the right torso. Critting on the right torso with no effect. However, the pilot does avoid damage. So Wolverine tries to punch at a Wasp and misses. The enemy Warhammer that is closest to us is at 6 heat. The other one is at 3 heat. And then the Allied Archer is at 4. Everybody else is at 0. Moving on, we still cannot win initiative to save our life, so we will go first. We'll continue to close the distance. Interesting. The enemy Warhammer cannot stand. So we'll jump in right next to him. And then hopefully the Guillotine can run up and stand next to him as well. Let's see what happened. Alrighty, so LRMs are going to be an 11 to hit. Let's go ahead and give it a whirligig. PPC is a 12 to hit. Otherwise, if we go against the light missile turret, it is a 4. Take that. Take the 4. So the Grasshopper against the Wasp has 9s to hit. Against the Warhammer, that'll be 5s. We're going to shoot at the Wasp, though, because the Guillotine is going to be able to shoot at the or at the Warhammer. I would love to be able to get a Wasp out of the fight as well. So let's go ahead and fire pretty much all the things. We'll go 2 over on heat, but it's fine. We just have to not shoot a medium laser next turn. I'd rather have the opportunity to shoot the Wasp, though. Especially because like 11s to hit from the Guillotine, not ideal. But the Guillotine has a 4 on the Warhammer. I will absolutely take that. So do that, and let's see what happens. Wasp uproots a tree. Stalker misses. Warhammer hits. Our Warhammer hits a stationary building. Good job, buddy. Enemy Warhammer hits with a PPC against the guillotine into the right arm. There's 10 armor remaining. Grasshopper hits with a medium laser against the Wasp into the right torso. Misses with everything else. Light missile turret fires LRMs and hits against the Stalker with a total of 9 missiles, 4 damage to the center torso and 5 to the right arm. Guillotine does really bad things to the Warhammer. Super bad things. Cliff notes, SRM-6 ammo explodes, doing 168 damage. The pilot does not stay conscious. Auto eject was engaged, but the pilot cannot land safely. It takes a total of 6 hits. It takes 7 damage, totaling over 6 hits, killing the pilot, and then blowing the Warhammer apart in a glorious explosion. Nothing else matters. Enemy Wasp does hit the Grasshopper with a medium laser into the left arm and 1 SRM into the right torso, and that is everything. A tier shed for a Warhammer. Oh man, do you risk it on the 9? I'm gonna risk it. All right, so Grasshopper missed, Wasp missed, Grasshopper stays standing, Wasp falls. Falls on his left arm doing 2 damage, and the pilot takes a hit. Okay, I'm fine with that result. Our Grasshopper's at 2 heat, everybody else is at 0. And still, pretty much bottom of the barrel for initiative. So we're going to end up in a situation pretty soon where we're trying to go against much more maneuverable mechs, and it's going to get very annoying very quickly, potentially. So the hope in backing the guillotine up is either we force this Wasp to jump there or jump someplace where at least we can shoot at him. I'm honestly tempted. We'll do that. So the Wasp obviously stood up and walked away. So 9s on the LRMs. I'm very cool with that. And an 11 on the large laser. I think that's very fine. We'll only fire 1 large laser though. So the Wasp would be a 10 on the PPC, or the building is a 3. We'll take the 3. And we'll go ahead and get warm this turn. And stand by for 2 seconds, guys. 2 seconds. All right, sorry about that. Had to wish the wife a good night. One thing I learned with going through a lot of very busy careers is take every opportunity to say goodnight to somebody that you can. It's very important, at least in my opinion. With our grasshopper, so we have 4s on medium lasers. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 on a heavy or a large laser. Yeah, seems like a reasonable thing to do. And oh, womp womp, can't hit that guy. You can hit him though. Very interesting. So it's a 6. I think that's good. Medium laser, yes, and yes. We'll just do that. Enemy Warhammer hits the Stalker in the right arm with a PPC, misses with the other one. Our Stalker misses with all the things. Enemy Wasp hits the Grasshopper with a medium laser in the left leg. Warhammer hits with both of the PPCs. Enemy Wolverine finally hits that Wasp. Thank you, buddy. Right arm takes 5 damage. AC 5 misses. SRM 6 hits with 6 missiles. 2 damage to the right arm, destroying the right arm. 2 damage to the right leg. Another 2 damage to the right leg. Another 2 damage to the right leg, destroying the right leg. 2 damage to the center torso and 2 damage to the right torso. Enemy Wasp hits with one of its SRMs against the Grasshopper, doing 2 damage to the right arm. The Grasshopper does very bad things to the Wasp, doing 5 damage to the center torso, 5 damage to the left arm, 5 damage to the right leg, 5 damage to the left torso, 8 damage to the right leg, destroying the right leg, and we've already destroyed the left arm. The light missile turret hits with 5 missiles of the LRM into the left arm of the Stalker. Guillotine, it destroys the Wasp. Bad things have happened to that poor little Wasp. The other Wasp, one of the other Wasps, shoots at the Archer, hitting the left torso and the right torso. Archer fires a large laser at the Wasp over here on the right. Large laser hits the right torso, destroying the right torso, critting on the heatsink, transferring 2 to the center torso, and then hits again into the left arm, transferring to the left torso, destroying the left torso, transferring to the center torso, critting on a gyro. That mech then automatically falls because it had a lot of very not okay things happen and took 2 damage to the right arm that doesn't exist. So it transferred to the right torso that doesn't exist. So it transferred to the center torso rear. The pilot then takes 1 damage but stays conscious. Whew. Good. And then the Wolverine kicks the Wasp to death. Most of the mechs are fairly heat neutral. Our Warhammer is up to 4 heat, but otherwise not a whole lot to report. And we win initiative for once. Neat. So there is 1 Wasp left over here. And this is one of the Op 4 Wasps, so we really need to kill it. We also need to destroy the Vulcan and the Warhammer if we can. As a reminder, we need to destroy 75%. 75% of the Op 4 and the 1st Recon Force. I know I've talked about this before, but I'm going to bring it up again. I think that there are a lot of people out there who probably view that as 75% of the BV. So when the report says you destroy 75% of the BV, you're good. I don't. I view it as the number of mechs. I don't know. I find it to be more fun that way. And sometimes it ends up being easier. Sometimes it ends up being harder. I just like it. Makes me happy. Keep closing the distance. Warhammer. We'll do that. That way, hopefully, we can come up this to the northwest and do something, anything. Where is their Wolverine going? If it seems like I'm chasing a wasp, it's only because I am. I want him to be afraid. I want him to be very, very afraid, because there are two big, scary, heavy mechs that are coming for his little, tiny, light mech. I want that little thing to be very afraid. Anyways, neither here nor there. So LRM on the Vulcan would be a 9, or on the Warhammer would also be a 9. Medium lasers into the Vulcan, however, would be a 10. Large laser would be a 10. Oofda. Okay, I think LRMs are the way to go on the Warhammer. And large laser would be a not 9. Hold on. Yeah, okay, cool. Great. I think this is worth getting warm for. The pilot looks like he's getting a little chilly, so we need to warm him up. So we'll fire one PPC into the light missile turret and just keep on walking, because that's what the boots are made for. We'll dump the medium lasers and the large laser, because there are 6s to hit. Hopefully one of them can hit. And then we have 8s to hit on these. We'll try the SRM, large laser, and some medium lasers. 1 over is fine. Wolverine misses Stalker. LRM 10 at the Warhammer hits, doing 5 damage to left arm, 1 damage to left torso. Also hits with a large laser, critting on the center torso with no effect. It's down to 6 armor in the center torso. The light missile turret hits the Warhammer, doing 4 damage to the right torso, missing with everything else. Warhammer hits with its PPC. The enemy Warhammer misses with 2 PPCs. Allied Archer misses. The enemy Wasp hits the Guillotine with a medium laser to the left arm, and an SRM, 2 damage to the left torso. The Vulcan misses with everything. Our Grasshopper, medium laser, does 5 damage to the right leg, misses with another medium laser, hits with the other medium laser, doing 5 damage to the right arm, critting on the medium laser, another 5 damage to the right arm, destroying the right arm, transferring 3 to the right torso. Large laser hits the left leg. It's down to 1 internal structure. The Guillotine then fires, hitting with the SRM-6. 3 missiles hit, doing 3 damage to the left torso, 2 damage, and a total of 4 damage to the center torso. The large laser then hits the left torso, destroying the left torso, blowing off the left arm, critting on a heat sink and a jump jet, transferring 4 to the center torso. Then the medium laser hits the left torso, transferring 5 to the center torso, destroying the center torso. And just for funsies, crits on the engine, because, you know, it wasn't enough. And then another 5 damage goes to the non-existent center torso. This is fine. Everything is fine. The enemy Warhammer is at 5 heat. Everybody else is fairly cool. And we almost lose initiative. So we'll see if we can't get some friends up there. Do we risk it to run over the rubble, or do we just jump? I think we just jump. I'm okay with not hitting anything this turn and not risking a fall. Same thing with the Guillotine. We'll go ahead and close the distance with the Warhammer. We won't be able to shoot him because there's a building in the way, but we can at least close the distance so that next turn, maybe we can do something. No, we'll close the distance there, and then we'll have shots on the Vulcan. Our allies are going to do ally things. I don't want to waste ammo, so we're going to do some large lasers. and a medium laser, and that will be enough for us today. Whoops, there we go. PPCs are going to be a 10 to hit. We'll just do one of those, and we'll chill. Grasshopper shooting against the Vulcan would be a 10. Against the Warhammer would be an 8. I could take an 8. So we'll fire with the large laser and LRM and call it good. The Guillotine doesn't have a shot on the Warhammer, and it would be an 11 on the Vulcan, but that'll be fine. Like I said, I didn't think we would hit anything this turn with those two anyway, so it's fine. Enemy Warhammer misses with a PPC. Stalker hits with a large laser, and a medium laser. It's down to 81 CF. The building is anyways. The Vulcan hits with its little AC2 against the Guillotine, hitting the left torso. Warhammer misses the Vulcan with its PPC. Ally Wolverine misses with everything. Light laser turret hits the Stalker with a medium laser, doing 5 damage to the right torso. Grasshopper magically hits with the large laser against the Warhammer, destroying the rest of the armor on the center torso. It's now down to 20 internal structure. The light missile turret hits the Archer with a total of 6 missiles, doing 3 damage to the left torso and 3 damage to the left arm. The Guillotine misses. The Wasp misses. Archer misses. We're not going to do any physical attacks. And everybody's pretty low on heat. And we do pretty good on initiative. Okay, so the Grasshopper, I think we do that. The Guillotine can also do that. So I'm just getting those two in a place where they can at least shoot at the Warhammer. I'm kind of focusing down the Warhammer right now. Then our Warhammer, if it can go someplace where it can also get shots, that would be great. And the Stalker, take 1 step forward. Enemy pilot ran away. That's fine. So we don't want to use the LRMs. Let's come down here really quick. So SRMs are a 5. Let's do both of those. Medium lasers are also a 5. Let's do 1, 2, 3. And we'll do a large laser. So we'll go 2 over on heat, but I'm not worried about it. Warhammers, PPCs are 5. So we'll go a little over on heat. So the Warhammer medium laser is a 6 for the Grasshopper. We'll just tap that button a few times. Call it good. And for our Guillotine, it's 8s to hit on the large laser and 8s for the medium lasers and SRMs. We'll give it our best shot. Call that good. I think, yeah, the Warhammer's having a bad day. Laser turret misses. Wolverine firing at one of the Wasps hits the left arm with an AC5, hurting it. The enemy Warhammer, it does a lot of bad things. Fires the PPC, hitting the left torso, doing 10 damage to the left torso of the Stalker. 5 damage to the right torso of the Stalker. Another 5 damage to the right torso of the Stalker. Small laser does 3 damage to the left leg of the Stalker. Machine gun does 2 damage to the right arm, another 2 damage to the center torso, but misses the SRM-6. Stalker fires with its SRM-6, hits with 4 of the missiles, doing 2 damage to the right leg, 2 damage to the right arm, 2 damage to the left torso, and 2 damage to the right arm. The other SRM-6 hits with 5 missiles, doing 2 damage to the right torso, 2 damage to the left arm, 2 damage to the left torso, another 2 damage to the left torso, and 2 damage to the right torso. Ileana, hey, thanks so much for dropping by. Really appreciate it. And yeah, thanks for following along. We'll see you later. Medium laser also hits the left torso, another medium laser into the left arm, and a medium laser into the left leg. The enemy wasp firing at the Wolverine misses. Our Warhammer hits with both of the PPCs, allegedly. However, one of them would have hit the left leg, miss it, and that gets absorbed by a building. The other PPC hits the right torso. Light missile turret firing at the Stalker does 5 damage to the center torso, and another 3 damage to the center torso. Womp womp. Archer misses. The Vulcan misses. Our Grasshopper hits with a medium laser, hits with another medium laser into the center torso, critting on the engine, which I'm very okay with, and then the large laser hits the right leg. The Guillotine firing an SRM-6 hits with 6 missiles, but only a few of them hit due to cover. 2 damage to the left torso, another 2 damage to the center torso, critting on the gyro, another 2 damage to the center torso, and then 2 damage to the left arm. Large laser, that poor center torso, does another hit on the engine. The center torso is down to 6 internal structure. So the Stalker stays standing. The Warhammer took a gyro hit and took over 20 damage, falls on his left side, doing 5 damage to the left leg, 2 damage to the left torso, damaging the pilot, but they do stay conscious. Oofda. I do feel for that poor little Warhammer. Yes, we will kick him, though. Yes. We kick his right leg, and we hurt his right leg. Once we destroy this Warhammer, then we will have met our objectives, fortunately. So it's up to, the Warhammer's up to 14 heat because it took 2 engine hits. It needed a 4 to avoid shutdown, rolls a 10. So we're going to use some of our other mechs to kind of sink some of this initiative. Hopefully we can get the Vulcan to move. And kind of go from there. Of course the Warhammer moved already. I kind of want the Stalker to just get away a little bit. Because we got enough other stuff that can shoot at the Warhammer, allegedly. We'll give it a second. Huh. Okay. So we'll dump some LRMs into a stationary building. And we'll be fine. We'll be okay. Done. I'm very surprised that the Vulcan decided to go there, but I'm not going to complain either. So we're just going to dump every short range thing that we have pretty much. And it should be a-okay. And hopefully some of that hits. Oh no. I miscalculated. Now we just have to shoot at a building instead. It's fine. We'll just shoot at a building. No harm, no foul. The Warhammer's not going anywhere. Stalker hits the building a whole bunch. It's down to 65 CF. The Wasp misses. Warhammer against the Vulcan hits with a small laser into the left torso. SRM-6 hits with 2 missiles, doing 2 damage to the center torso, 2 damage to the right leg. The Wolverine does very bad things to the Wasp and destroys the cockpit, killing the pilot. Light laser turret misses. The Grasshopper hits the building a whole bunch. It is now down to 37 CF. The Guillotine also hits the building. It is down to 29 CF. Vulcan, firing at the Warhammer, hits with an AC-2, doing 2 damage to the right arm. Light missile turret hits the Guillotine with a total of 9 missiles, doing 9 damage to the center torso. And we will just skip all of our physical attacks this turn. So the Wasp tried to kick the Wolverine, hit the right leg, doing 4 damage. Wolverine kicked the Wasp, destroying the left leg. That did not work out for the Wasp. Wasp automatically falls because it lost the leg, takes 2 damage to the right arm. The pilot takes a damage, but stays conscious. The Wolverine, however, did fall, doing 5 damage to the rear right torso and 1 damage to the rear center torso. He also takes 1 damage, but does stay conscious. The enemy Warhammer is up to 7, or down to 7 heat, I should say. And we win initiative. The Warhammer stood up. What a guy. What a guy. Why don't we give you a pat on the back? Oh, that's nice. So not a whole lot happens. The Wasp falls, takes some more damage. Everybody else gets up or stays standing. And then from there, we can use some medium lasers. And an SRM on a 9, maybe another SRM on a 9, and we'll call that good. The Warhammer, PPCs are on a 7, medium laser is a 4. 4, 4, 4. We'll do all of our short range stuff, and then we'll do a PPC at the end, just, you know, for good measure. Why not? It'll probably work out. The Grasshopper is just going to fire everything except for the LRMs. And then lastly, the Guillotine is going to fire at the Vulcan, which is mostly 8s to hit. And we're going to go ahead and get warm with him. Looks like bad things probably happened to that Warhammer. Wolverine firing at the Wasp, hits it a whole bunch, but still doesn't manage to kill the poor thing. Oof. Can somebody get some stuff to euthanize this poor little Wasp? Vulcan misses with everything. I'm okay with this. Stalker hits the Vulcan with a medium laser. Glancing blow only does 2 damage to the right torso. And then the SRM-6 hits with 2 missiles, doing 2 damage to the left torso, another 2 damage to the left torso. The Warhammer firing on the other Warhammer. Long story short, takes out the center torso and guts the Warhammer. Enemy Warhammer goes down. The light laser turret hits the Warhammer with both medium lasers, hitting the center torso and the left leg. The archer hits the Wasp, destroying the left torso, critting on a heat sink, transferring to the center torso. The missile turret hits the our Warhammer with 4 missiles. Would have hit the head, but hits the right leg instead because of Edge. Thank you, Edge. And the Grasshopper firing into the Warhammer. It doesn't really matter. It's already dead. Guillotine firing into the Vulcan. Medium laser hits the left torso. Medium laser hits the right arm. That's about it. That is about it. So we're going to try to kick it. Vulcan kicks the Grasshopper, doing 8 damage to the left leg. Wolverine finally destroys that poor little Wasp. Guillotine kicks the Vulcan, doing 14 damage to the left leg. Grasshopper stays standing. Vulcan was kicked, falls, takes 4 damage to the right leg, 4 armor remaining. However, we have destroyed enough things that we can say / victory. What a beautiful phrase. Yeah, we'll save a GIF. Nah. Cool. We did all the things. We retained the field of battle. Really, we didn't take a lot of damage, which is nice. Our personnel are doing fine. The light laser turrets did not escape. We're still over on the stuff. We'll say that the Vulcan escaped. I think you could argue that it didn't because we were going to destroy it. However, we have a disproportionate amount that we gain from it. So I'm fine with saying it escaped. Oof. Okay, so most of those Wasps we did not kill. The Op 4 ones we absolutely did. The pilot we didn't kill. He just kind of killed himself, actually. The Wasp, that was the Grasshopper. And that is everything. Done. So then, yeah, why would I scan the hostile base? That just seems silly. We did preserve the things. And yeah, that's it. It seems silly that, I mean, would you argue? I would argue that we controlled the field of battle. We would easily have stayed there for 18 turns, and all we would have done is destroy the things. I would argue that we actually did do this because we controlled the field of battle. I can stay there for as long as I want. If I have enough time to come and get salvage, I have enough time to scan things. It's my opinion. I'm going to go with it. It's my game. All right, that being said and done, we are now out of missions. This contract goes through March. We have just entered into October. We have a long ways to go, but I am feeling confident. However, I have now been streaming for almost 3 hours. I think that it's about time for me to say good night. Thank you so much for everybody who took the time to watch tonight. I'm sorry about the interruptions. I hope that you all have enjoyed watching so far. As a reminder, I'll be streaming probably about 2 times next week. It would be great if you guys could hit the follow button if you're here on Twitch. If you're watching on YouTube later on, hit the like button, or please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It helps the channel get seen and found, and helps other people find this content that I think that hopefully they would enjoy as well. As soon as 50.10 comes out, we will switch to a new campaign. If you want to have a little bit of say in what happens, start leaving some comments on the videos. Otherwise, Monday is probably the next time I'll be streaming. I hope to see you all there. And until next time, take it easy.